so that everybody can always come through to these videos and watch them later on. Alright, so as we said, as I introduce myself, someone actually, and I am a web developer, a full stack developer, a web designer, UI designer, and I also run a web design agency or web development agency. So our session is kind of structured in a way that we'll be able to guide you from someone who knows nothing about building websites to someone who can actually start building websites. And throughout this process, I'm going to be showing you guys some things that you have to take into consideration when you're trying to build a website. We are going to see how to build or to pre-design a website, maybe something like Figma. Then in our tomorrow's video, we are going to see how you can convert a Figma design into, let's say, a WordPress design, something that you don't need to write basic line of code. Then on our third day, we are going to see how we can actually take what we design and make it online and available for people to view. So that's simply the processes that we are going to follow. And throughout this process, we are going to be seeing some of the tools we might also need to install. Maybe since there's a recording of the video that you are going to watch later on, it will be prominent that you kind of go through to just see what everything is all about and to understand what we are trying to say. And as we said, I think there's a lot that we are going to be doing practically throughout this session. For those joining from TikTok, you're all welcome to live. I'm currently hosting a free web design. Please share the live, double tap, share the live and like, share the video, show your friends so that they can also join. So we are going to be seeing what the web is all about and several things that we need to understand before we actually dive deep to understand what we're talking about. Now, many of us will already converse with the fact that there are websites everywhere. For instance, if you go to Google and you search for anything like Facebook.com, Amazon.com, Alibaba.com, or any other website, it always appears as a website. But the first thing that we don't understand about all of these websites that exist is the fact that most of these websites are built either with code or without code. And most often, these websites that are built with code or without code depend solely on how we use or utilize them. For instance, the website have different structures that we can kind of grasp and go through. And all of these structures of a website kind of helps us to be able to understand the narration of which we are trying to portray here. Now let's take an example of this website we are seeing here, which is the Amazon website. There are three parts of which a website is divided into that we are going to see here. The first one is termed the header section. And the header section is actually this section of the website at the top here that can either remain stationary when you kind of navigate to the website, or the part that contains the sensitive information about the specific website. So if you have a section of a website that is kind of containing the most relevant information of the website, it's mostly termed as the header. So this is just the header. The next one we have is the footer, and the footer is simply what we see right at the bottom when you scroll down to the website, like the bottom list of a website. Like what we see here, it is actually like right. Sorry, I was mostly focusing on my TikTok people marketing. I was to share my screen. Give me 2 minutes. Sorry about that. Alright, I hope my screen is visible to all of you who are following on. Alright, so we are trying to explain parts of the website and we are taking Amazon as an example. So we have the Amazon website. At the top there we actually have what we call the website, while at the bottom we have what we term the footer of the website. So the footer is simply here. It contains also relevant information, but that is not the most important information on the website that we actually want the users to see. The in between the header and the footer we term it to the body. The body contains So that is simply like what that particular section is all about. And whenever you see your website, the first thing you need to do is that you need to be able to draft out or to see what the components of the website is doing. Now we are going to dive over to Figma, where we are going to be explaining most of these things I'm trying to explain here. Now over here in Figma, I'm just going to show you guys how to open the page real quick. So as it is loading, let's just go further explaining what we still have here. So as we're saying, websites are structured in different types. There are different types of websites. So we have e-commerce websites. An example of this is an e-commerce website. We have NGO websites. We have NGO websites. We have school websites. We have company websites. We have so many websites that exist. So whenever you want to build a website, you must be able to understand the type of website you're building, because it is the type of website you're building that will govern you to build something that people actually would love to visit or people actually love to see. So coming next now, we are going to be talking about some principles that you need to actually understand whenever you're trying to build websites. And mastering some of these principles is very, very key to building websites that actually convey, websites that actually makes a lot of sense. So this is just like an example of a website that focuses on NGO and donation, where people can actually come to the website to donate money, or maybe they view projects or donations that they can make to a specific NGO firm and others. So there are different types of websites, like I said. There are e-commerce websites, there are NGO websites, there are school websites, there are shipping websites or logistics websites. There are tons and tons of websites that actually exist. Thank you guys for liking the video on TikTok. Please like and share such that so other people can join, follow, and connect, and also learn from what we're trying to do. Alright, so these are the different types of websites. Coming back over here, whenever you have a website inspiration, there are two websites I'm going to be sharing. At the end of the day, I'm going to be sharing the resources to those websites. Now, the first thing whenever you're building a website is that someone might come to you seeking for a specific type of website that they want. And once they are seeking for a specific type of website, you must be able to understand what they actually want. But being able to choose a specific type of website, you must be able to understand what we call the web design principles. And web design principles are those principles that will guide you to be able to choose, or to be able to choose the right assets for your website, to choose the right colors for a website, or to choose how to implement a specific website for a user. Let me try to want to be able to see the interactions. Please, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat section. I'll be able to see your questions in the chat section. If you have a question, put it in the chat section. Please let me accept others who are waiting to join the class. Alright, so you must be able to understand. Now let's come back here. So what are the different web design principles that we have? The first one is that a design is simply a plan or a specification for the construction of an object or system, or for the implementation of an activity or process or result of that plan. And web design comprises mostly of different skills and disciplines in the production and maintenance of websites, which means whenever you're producing or building websites, you must be able to take all of those things into consideration. All of these things have to be considered. And the different areas where web design is mostly applicable, areas where web design is most applicable, we have is web graphic design, user interface design, authoring, including standardized code, and which is not the part which we are so much concerned with. Then now we have the question is how. So designing starts with understanding the principles of psychology. That is the first thing that you people have to understand. When you're building websites, being it as someone who sells websites or someone who is building websites, the first thing you need to understand is the psychology. Designing has a psychology that you have to follow. and you must follow these psychologies to be able to build websites that actually convey. If you are facing difficulties on this thing, you can join on TikTok, please. I'm live on TikTok. So as I'm saying, and there are three main principles that you have to follow. The first one is the mirroring principle. The second one is what to do, which is social validation, and the third one is the psychology of color. If you master these three web design principles, then you are good to go as in building and designing good and high quality websites. So that is it. So you must be able to master them. Now let's proceed. Now, mirroring is simply the behavior in which one person unconsciously imitates the gesture, speech pattern, or attitude of another. That is simply what mirroring is all about. Let us understand mirroring to be like the way God created man. The Bible says that God created man in his image, which means even God himself is using this particular principle that we are trying to bring into web design, which is the principle of mirroring. So God himself performed this particular principle in designing man. So even in web design, we should be able to utilize the same principle that God used in designing man, which is the principle of mirroring. And as we said, mirroring is simply a behavior in which one person unconsciously imitates the gesture, pitch, pattern, or attitude of another. And relating this to web design, mirroring is simply copying. You should be able to copy what other people have implemented on their website. If somebody built a website and it is nice, it is good, you copy. Look at Facebook, look at Instagram, look at TikTok, look at Twitter and that is X and Threads. They are all copying from each other. So the first principle of web design is for you to be able to learn how to mirror other people's designs. Copy if possible. Even as programmers, we know that the concept in it for you to succeed is that you should learn how to copy code. Control C, Control V is how they call us. Control C, Control V is how they call us. Now, so what to do? So here is where the key lies. In designing, you must be able to provide a painkiller solution, and you must understand what you are trying to achieve. Goals and roadmap must be set very, very clearly. What current problem are you trying to solve with your website, and where is the biggest opportunity? Most of us, we fail to understand the fact of this particular biggest opportunity. You're building a website for a company and you fail to understand why the company needs the website. And that is something that we need to be able to understand. And it all comes down to a process. You must incorporate strategy into your process. Conduct a workshop with someone you're trying to build a website for. Understand the goals, understand the customer, align the expectations with the process you're trying to bring forward. And the psychology of color, simply you must understand the fundamentals of color. Color doesn't just mean color, but actually user experience is a part of it. If you build a website that is meant for a school and you pack everywhere with red color, it is bad experience. If you are building a website for kids and you don't put green and shouting colors like red there, you are making a mistake. If you are building a website for a hospital and you make it red, it is a very huge mistake. You should understand the psychology of color. Color plays a very big role whenever you're trying to build projects. Now, for instance, look at this here. It actually looks bad. Like, look at how the color combination is. It looks extremely bad. This is how users tend to react to situations whenever you have a bad design or whenever your website looks bad. And learn the rule of color psychology. You must understand the fundamentals of composition and layout. You must understand color. You must understand typography. You must understand visual communication and user experience. Those are the things that if you're planning to build a website, if you want to get into this field of building a website, you should be able to research all of these topics. I have videos on my YouTube channel that explains all of these concepts there. If you need the videos, I can share it in the group after this so that you guys can get the videos and maybe watch the videos. In fact, they are on my YouTube channel. So, entering deeper, composition, layout, color, and typography, visual communication. So designing is just half of the work. Sales, how to present, how to get people, how to set expectations is another. That is why at the end of this particular breaking up the game, understanding the process, building a strong team, becoming your own CEO is what we are trying to pin in this particular session. That is what we are trying to make you understand. You can start earning money from building websites. You can already start earning money from building websites. Now let's look at how we can get website inspiration designs and we kind of try to build. In this particular session, we are going to see how to build or design this particular interface we are seeing here. But here are the list of some websites that you can always go to for inspiration. The first one is called Behance.net and the second one is called Dribble. Those are the most popular websites that you can go there to get website inspiration. I'm going to send the links of all of these websites in a group for you guys to go through and see. So in something like Behance, you need to sign up for an account. You can search for any website design that you want and you can maybe just view examples of designs. So let's say for instance that you're trying to build a website. This is where we are going to be showing how mirroring is being done. How is mirroring done? For instance, we see a design like this and it is a design we actually like and want to use. The first thing is that I was trying to screenshot this design by using my snipping tool which is inbuilt on my laptop. When I have this tool, I'll just screenshot this particular interface like this. I can take a screenshot of the interface, for instance. I screenshot the interface and copy the interface. Now you are going to go to this website called Figma.com and sign up for an account. For those of you already know Figma, good for you. But if you don't know Figma, go to Figma.com and sign up for a free account on Figma. When you sign up for a free account on Figma, you are going to open the application somehow like this. Once you open the application, you can find something like this. I have an interface that looks like this because I am actually a very designer and I've been designing for long. That is why I have this as an interface. But if you are new, the first thing you want to do is to come over here to where you have this name here. Click on it. If you are new to Figma, you will have less projects. So since because I have so many projects already, I already have like tons of projects already on Figma. So what I want to do here is that when you click on this, you want to be able to go down and click on create new. When you click on create new, it brings you here where you have to create new. So what you want to do here is to type the name of the team. Like let's just call this free class. You click on create team and you wait for a while. Please, people on TikTok don't tap to share the live. You can DM me for the link to where we are hosting the class so that tomorrow you should be able to follow through the class and have access to the video. But this video is currently being recorded. Alright, we are waiting for network. Network is doing its job. As we know, we're in Cameroon, so MTN is the best. Alright, so our team is created already. Please guys share the live. Double tap on your screen, share the live. So here, if you have people working with you, you can add them as team members. If you don't have anybody here, always choose the starter plan. If you are rich, you can get these other ones here. You can get some money, giving them money. If you are poor and broke as I am, please go for the free. Alright, so we are in here. All you need to do is to click on, just hover over here and click on this plus sign. It's going to create a new file and we will now be in Figma. So we are now in Figma and we are going to start designing in Figma. So Figma is loading. We just need to give Figma a while for it to load. Please those on TikTok double tap and share. TikTok double tap and share. Alright, we're in Figma. The first thing we want to do is to right click and paste our design that we have screenshotted. So this is our design. So we want to be able to create a pre-design about what we have. And for you guys to understand what Figma is all about, Figma is just a place where you can create pre-design for your applications, your website and things. Let's take an example. We are building a project. This is an example of multiple designs of what we are actually going to be implementing throughout the process of building the project. So this is an example here. You can see these are designs of what we are going to be doing, what we are building throughout the project. So you can see there are several designs so that network is telling us. So let's just go back. Now the first thing you want to do here is simple. If you don't understand anything on this, you can rewatch the video. Thank you for liking Venelo. So what the first thing you want to do is I want to create what we call a frame. So I want to create a frame. So all we are doing here is to try to replicate what we have here as a design. So I will come over here to where we have frames. You can reach out to me for a full work with Figma, I will send you the video for you to actually follow. So you click on this and you go to desktop, choose desktop. You will see here our desktop frame has been created on this other section here. So we are going to be copying this design on this section. Now I'm going to go back to where we are actually coming from so that I can download the assets of the website that we are going to be using. So I come back here, come here, go here. The first thing is the logo, so I'll just right click and click on save. And this is the logo. I save it on my downloads. Click on save and we have the logo downloaded. I think we have this background image and we can actually use any image in the background. So I can go to a website like Pexels to kind of get a background image. Since I cannot already download the background image from here. So I can go to somewhere like pexels.com. If you need links to all of these resources, you can let me know in the link group and I'll send them to you. So I'm just going to look for any random image here and use. So okay. Let's use this particular image here. So I'll just click on this drop down. I want to download the smallest quality. Select the quality here and select size. And this is it. Alright, so we have our image and this is already downloaded. So what I want to do is to go back to Figma. I want to import those two things. The first thing is I want to be able to position our image as a background. So the background to our desktop frame. So what I'll do here is simple. I'll just open my file explorer. And if I go to downloads, these are the two images here and here. I will drag the two images in. So these are our two images. The first one is the logo and the second one is the background image. So the first thing we want to do is that we want to position our background image. Now there are two ways. I can either drag the background image into the frame or I select the frame. I come over here to our view column. If you want to know more about Figma, I'll give a video that will explain more details about Figma. So we come here, we choose image, and we click on this upload from computer, and then we grab the image from our computer, which is this image here. So we have the image. The next thing I want to do is I want to do some settings on the image by dropping down the color saturation of the image. So I can just drop down the saturation to get it to black and white. I can drop down the temperature, and I can drop down the exposure of the image to make it a little bit darker. So just a little bit darker. Next, we want to be able to add this top section here. So the top section has the home projects about, the logo, members, news, and contact, and the donate button. So what we want to do here is simply add that particular section. So I come over here and I'll create a frame. So you select frame and you create a frame. Once you create the frame, all you need to do is to come over here to where you have T. T stands for text. Click on text. Scroll up. We are going to write home. So write home. Next, we are going to edit the font size and take it up to about 60 pixels. And I'm going to duplicate it. This will be about. I'll duplicate again. This will be contacts. And if I zoom out, I think we have home projects about, okay, members news. So we have projects. So we duplicate again. Members. We have projects. And we have news. I think that should be all. Alright, so these are them. So the first thing we want to do here is to group them into sections. So here I'm just going to separate. So I have home about and projects. So I just create an auto layout and reduce the size to be about 24 or more. Let's say 40. Then we get projects, members, and groups. Now the next thing we want to do is to make sure that the logo is positioned at the center. We select this and we create an auto layout. I'm going to add auto layout. So if I click, I'm going to add auto layout. It becomes an auto layout and then we can now position it at the center of the page. Next, we have the button this way. So we are going to be adding a button here, and the button simply says delete. So we come over back to text, use text, zoom in, click and we write donate. Click outside, shift A to create an auto layout, scroll down and click on stroke and change the stroke color to white. So the stroke color is white, that is the button. So we zoom out and we can double click on it and we kind of position it here. And then if you check this other section here, we have icons for Facebook, X, and we have this other one here. The icons, we can download them online. But I'll just put placeholders for these icons, so I'll just come over here. I'll choose circle and I'll just put placeholders as I said, so that we should not be going back and forth. So I'll just put placeholders. So I have 3 of them. This, select the 3 and bring them down to be at the center. So that is the placeholder for the icons, somehow like this. So we have something like this. So that is the top section. Now the next thing is that we want to be able to add this text. The text simply says empower, inspire, transform. So we are going to click on text again. So it's empower, inspire, and we have transform. So that is the text. The next thing we want to do is to increase the font size, as you can see. So this is it. We are going to centralize the text by choosing this. And the next thing we want to do here is the font size. We can change the fonts to maybe bold, bolder, extra bold, or something else. And let's say we choose extra bold. We have something like this. The next thing I just want to double click and add the dots there. They make a lot of sense. And we have something like this. The next thing we want to do is this paragraph here. I'll just go back online and copy it from the exact website we're trying to duplicate. So I'll come here, go to the website. Alright, so we are going to copy this. So that we don't waste so much of time. And we make sure this man is in the center. We right click here, or we click on this. We draw this. We come here and drop down the font size to about 24 pixels. It should be paste in here. Then we are going to move it away from this. Now we can measure the distance here. Measure the distance to see, maybe reduce the distance of the distance. We are looking at 24 pixels. It will not be visible for those on TikTok. Make sure it is positioned at the center like this. Next, we need to put a donate button, 2 donate buttons, donate and discover more. So we come back here. We already have our button up here, but we need to create a different button. So I'll come over here. I'll create donates. This should be a button that has yellow color. Shift A to create an auto layout. I can increase the height of the logo to be about 58 pixels. And I'll increase the width. And I'll duplicate this particular button here to have another one that says discover more. So I'll duplicate it. I'll change this to discover more. Alright, so we have this. The first thing is this button is yellow in color. I click on fill. I click on the color. Click at and I'll pick this yellow color here. I'll go back and I'll change this one opacity of it to be about, let's say, 50%. So that should be transparent, something like this. The next thing you want to do here is simple. We want to kind of make sure this is at the center. Maybe reduce the heights. Then we are going to add some content here. Now just go back to the website. I'm not just going to do exactly what is there. I will right click here. I can download this icon. Ooh. Okay, I wanted to download the icon. I can't download the icon. Let me see if I can get an icon somewhere. Alright, I'm going to get an icon for this here. This is actually a design we're working on. I'm just coming to grab an icon of if. Alright, let me grab this icon so that we can use it, copy and then take it there, which is here. So we are just going to put the icon here for instance. Let's say we paste here. This is the icon. It's still loading. So we have the icon here. The next thing we want to do is to be able to kind of structure out something. So I'll take it a little bit up. Now be mindful, I'm not designing exactly what is there because the content is too much. If I want to replicate what is there, it will take us a lot of time. And we are very late with 17 minutes. So we have this. I can increase back the opacity to about, let's say, 80. And I will drop the color also. So that not just the opacity, we drop down the color. Then we now kind of add content here. Let's just take for instance that maybe we want to add a section that talks about how many people have donated. Let me just get rid of it. Let's say I wanted to display how many people have donated and stuff. So we can just put images here, style them well, and then see this number of people have donated. So what I'm going to do here is simple. I'm going to put overalls here. And I'm going to duplicate these overalls like this. Just to show that it's connectivity to people and people are connecting to video or something like this. Alright. The next thing I want to do here is simple. I want to right click and I'm going to put in a automatically insert images. So I'll open on Splash and we have all our images here. So we just want to insert images. I inserting the images on Splash. We are going to search for faces, and all what we are going to do here is simple. We come to wherever we want to insert the image and we want the face we want to insert it. So automatically insert the image here. Go to the next dimension, go to the next, insert this one. Go to the next, scroll down, insert this one. Go to the next, insert this. Go to the next, insert this. Go to the next, which is this guy. Insert this man. Go to the next, scroll down, insert this. Go to the next, scroll down, insert this. I think this should be the last one, insert this. So these are the images. Now there is something I want to do to add more style to all of these images. So we select the images, all of them. And I'll come here, I'll add an effect here, just like the drop shadow. The next thing I want to say or add here is simply join. Join 100 plus people. I'll bring it close to this. I'll increase the font size. And I'll increase the font weight. So I want to say join the 100 plus people. I want to add more text down. Say commit. let's say 16 pixels. I'll bring it this way, and I'll drop down from bold to regular, and I'll kind of drop it down like this and make sure it is left aligned, so we have something like this. So overall, this is what we have as design. We can add more styles to this by adding a stroke to this, maybe giving it a yellow color to make it a little bit to pop a bit. Then also for these images here, I think we can add more style to it by selecting the images, all of them, giving them stroke, and also giving them this particular yellow color as a stroke. So we give this, so we have something that looks like this. Now, one thing that can make our design to stand out is us being able to know the right fonts to use. So if we know the right fonts to use on our design or on our website, it actually saves us a lot of things. So let's say, for instance, here, this one is just the default font, which is Inter. Let's say we want to change Inter to, let's say, something like Poppins. I'm going to just switch to all the fonts, popular fonts, and I'll just search for Poppins. And I click on Poppins. You can see this actually looks different now. Same here. I can change this from Inter to, let's say, Montserrat. Let's say this to Montserrat. And this is in Montserrat. Same here. We can change this to Poppins. So we click over here. I just want to click here and I say in this file, Poppins, we drag it up. This one here should be Montserrat. Come over here. Okay. Where did Montserrat go to? Then we select this and we have this. This is actually the key design. Something like this. We could go as deep as adding animation and other things to our design. But since we are actually trying to learn the shortest time is possible, and I believe mostly everybody in here might have a plan or a notion of what Figma is, how Figma works, and everything about Figma. So we can stop here for now. And please, if you have any questions, you can unmute your mic and ask your questions so that we can tell you. And also be mindful that at the end, you need to have access to this video, the recorded session, so that you can watch it down and see if you can practice. I have videos on my channel that you can also check out. So please, if you have anything to ask, please, you can unmute your mic and ask questions. You can ask the question directly with me so that we can have the answers in real time. Alright, just to see what we have been working on, let me try to prepare. Right, so you can see this is what we have as our pre-design. So we went as further to like make this much more deeper. We have had a lot of things, interactions and stuff. An example would be like what we have here. If I come over here, something like this, where we have interactions happening. So you can also create your own interactions on your websites. You can scroll through and view other sections. So we had as much time as possible to have created like other sections, creating scrolls, over effects on our website, like what you see here, and so much more. You can create interactions, you can create over effects, you can create sliders, you can scroll through your websites. So we had so much time, I would have demonstrated to you guys how to do all of this. But without further ado, I think I have videos on my design something to sit down and take time to design this. A lot of things like designing multiple sections like what you see, designing multiple sections, animating them, creating interactions, prototyping, and others. So that's actually it. And as you can see, there are multiple sections of this, same as there are others, projects and stuff. So this is it about our today's session. I hope it was helpful. My TikTok people, thank you guys for sharing the live. Thank you guys for the likes. I guess this will be it about today's developer design. I'm going to export this and will send to you. As I said, if you're following from TikTok and you want to join our WhatsApp, you can reach out, just DM me, and I'm going to send you the link so that you can join. We still have 2 more days to go, so we have tomorrow and after tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday. In our tomorrow session, as I said, we are going to see how we can start converting this to a Figma design. And on Sunday, we are going to see how we can deploy a website online, how to make it online. And from the experience of these 3 days, you can still choose to ask me more questions. There are videos on my YouTube channel that you can still watch and learn. I think I have a playlist that says how to start your web design agency.
Everlasting melody.
So this video will be available for you guys to watch for those who are following up. As I said, please, if you're following up and you have any questions or worries, you can unmute your mic and ask. As for now, I'm going to be stopping the recording so that it does not continue a lot.
Sir, I have a question.
Alright.
Okay, so when you were making the auto layout, that was